Pin my comment. Hi everyone. Pin. Boom. Okay. Hello. Hi everyone. Welcome back to episode 17 of 20 Questions With. Today's special guest is going to be Massive Brain Damage from Orange County. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Erin Micklow, and I host a show on YouTube where I interview bands, cover their live sets, and do festival recaps. So let's bring them on. I missed all of you guys. Taking time off out of respect for the chaos that's been going on. I missed you guys so much. I was so sad. Let's see, they're not here yet. It doesn't look like they're here yet. Just wait a minute because they're not in here yet. But I missed you guys. With everything that's going on in the world, with, finally taking a stance against systematic racism, it's just been like, the weight of all of that, I didn't realize how much I missed you guys and how much doing this show has given me life in quarantine. Oh, they're still not here yet. Guys, where are you? They just messaged me and said they were ready. Hi, Franco. Your interview is next. I'm so sorry. The Last Rockers TV segment has just been like such a weight for me to edit lately. Just with the weight of all this quarantine and what's been going on in the world. It's just, I'm sure a lot of you have been feeling it too, that some days in this quarantine, it's just hard. It's hard to do stuff. Oh, they're still not in here yet. Guys, where are you? Oh wait, here they are. That's really bright. There we go. I haven't done my hair and makeup in a week. It feels really good to be done today. Hi, guys!
Hi! Hi, Erin.
How are you?
Move this. There we go.
We're here!
Those are technical difficulties.
Yay!
We're going to have to fit in.
It's okay. Yeah, maybe I can only see two. I can only see two.
Social distancing, right? Okay, there goes that.
I mean, the social distancing is kind of ending now. It is weird, starting to see bars open. I'm not rushing to go to a bar, but it is comforting to see that it's oh, maybe it's not so bad to be there with 3 people.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's jump into it. Since all of you guys are here today, can you introduce yourselves for everyone that is not familiar with you?
I'm Carlos, aka Wheaties. I play guitar and sing for Massive Brain Damage.
My name is Nikki, and I'm the drummer. And
I'm Ruben, and I'm the bassist in M.B.D.
get back there. I'll get it.
Oh my god. So how are we going to do this so we can see all of you the whole time? Because I only kind of see most of
There
you.
we go. We're by there.
There we go.
There we go. We're good. We're good.
Yeah, this is definitely not social distancing.
We're like a family. It's okay.
There goes it.
We've known each other for years, so.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the social distancing, it has been weird. Like I was saying, whenever I walk down to go mail packages, there's a bar now open on Hollywood Boulevard, and there's just people in there like nothing happened.
Wow.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's some people are out and about and it's
just going about their day like nothing's out there.
It just if this virus doesn't exist.
Yeah. It's I think people are just I'm tired of it, so I'm just going to say it doesn't exist anymore because I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's jump into our questions. I read that your band infuses the raw elements of hardcore punk with the roots of 90s crossover, and you talk about redefining the meaning of life through themes like personal growth and fight anthems and then zombies. Can you elaborate on that?
I mean, I would say that a lot of our lyrical content, it's kind of, we have fun songs about zombies and the movie The Blob and the movie Warriors, but then we have fight anthems like And I'm, which is about bullying, and we have Sick of Your Shit, which is about fighting people who oppress others, we're sick of their shit, or our song I Won't Go Down, which is about you're not going to go down. So it's just kind of it's about growing as a person, but also having fun too, and hanging out with your friends, our song Back to Back, which is which I literally wrote about our friendship. So
It's what we do, yeah, on a daily basis. And it's pretty much like, you know, like we just well, like I wrote most of those songs like years ago, about like 10 years ago when I was like 16. So I'm 27 now. So to see how timeless they are, where like we brought him back a year before. I think what, 2 years now?
yes, yeah. 2 years.
So we brought him back 2 years ago, and it's just like people are still digging him like back then. So it's pretty cool to see it keep going.
Yeah.
So
it's because they're really catchy.
They really are.
No, they're great songs. I love the cover you guys did of Warriors. It's a really good cover.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait, that is the cover from the movie, right? Am I mistaken?
Well, so it was written about the movie, so it's like we're covering the content of the movie, but I don't think it's a song in the movie, right?
No.
Yeah.
We're just paying
You just like you sampled that one line where it's all like
yeah, that's it. I sampled it. Yeah, we just sample that one line, and then everything is just like, you know, just talk about, you know, for the movie. So it's for the fans. Like, we're fans of the movie, so it's for the fans of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So we always get people come up to us like, oh my gosh, like, you know, like, so
yeah.
So they get all. So this one, I remember this one time, one guy, we played at the Doll Hut a long time ago, and this dude, he put the bottles in his hands. He was just like, so we're like, oh, it's so cool.
Yeah, I saw that over last summer. That was the movie that Linda Ramone showed at the Johnny
Ramone thing in Hollywood, right? Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, and there were like people there dressed up about it, and I wasn't really familiar with the movie, but like being there and her showing it, like I saw that it was like there's a big cult following for that film.
Yeah. Yeah, so, you know, you haven't seen it yet. You know, the viewers right now, go watch it and then listen to our song.
And then watch the music video that we shot about our song.
Yeah, that's where it was like from, with that famous line in the movie where the Warriors come out and play.
Yeah.
I still get chills when you sing it on stage sometimes. Oh my god. It's awesome. I love that song.
Yeah, it's great. Well, so obviously, you know, talking about like the current social climate that we're in, you know, with the Black Lives Matter movement and like seeking justice for these lives that have been taken, I saw that like in support of that, you guys are giving away downloads of your entire discography. Can you talk about how people can participate in that?
Yeah, so basically what our kind of goal is because even though we have like a small platform, we have quite a few like followers and viewers, and you know, we're very passionate about anything, especially me, especially like, you know, like civil rights and human rights and equality for all. You know, I think we've all just dealt with that type of discrimination at one point or another. So how we decided to help others is to, you know, like if they like our stuff, if they just donate or if they already donated, just send us proof. And then we'll happily send you like our discography for free, you know? So we don't keep a cent, we don't make a cent, we don't pass the money on. It's literally, you pick the charity that you want to donate to and just send us a receipt and let us know. And we'll happily send you our Bad Blood EP, our full-length album, and Stuck in Space, our live album. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
That's awesome. That's an awesome support too. I mean, I've seen like a lot of artists out there doing that, and there's like so many different ways to support. Like, you know, there's so many different things going around the internet talking about like, well, if you can't do this, then you can do this, and if you can't do that, then you can do that. And I think like it is such an important time that we're in. I mean, it's just, I mean, if you think of like 2020 as a whole, it's fucking nuts. We go through like this global pandemic.
Oh my God.
And then like, you know, because people are so fucking frustrated by that already, then this thing happens and it really like brings awareness to that this is a problem and has been a problem, you know, for a lot of years.
Yeah.
And that's the sad thing about it is that, you know, like you think that you're taking a couple steps forward and then you all of a sudden take 10 steps back, and, you know, all of a sudden it like you talk to people and you're like how do you even have those views nowadays? You know, it's interesting. People of all walks, you know, like you find out kind of where they really stand when you put something in their face and they kind of need to make a judgment. You're like, oh, okay, you perceive it this way. You know, so it's eye-opening for a lot of people. I know people who, like, I was like, oh, like, I considered you a friend, but you have such extreme views towards, you know, like people of color. Like, I don't want to be friends with you now. Like, I don't want to bring that into my life because I'm trying to advocate for change.
Yeah.
So I think like you realize like your relationships and how much like either special or if, you know, along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Florida, which is absolutely not liberal. It is not liberal at all. And I remember being in high school, just like the racism that would happen. Like, you know, like, I mean, there were a lot of people of color in Florida. It was a big part of the melting pot that we have there. You know, there's a lot of Latin people and a lot of African American people, but just the racism that I grew up privy to, of seeing that and the way that these people of color were treated. And like one of the things that I really like going around, like of the memes that are like, you know, at least educate yourself and learn. And like there was somebody posted something the other day, because like a lot of people are so angry about it that they're having this cancel culture. Whereas someone else posted like, what about the people that are like, I'm learning, I'm going to do better, I'm going to change. You know what I mean? And like giving a little bit of credit and light to that instead of just saying cancel this person. Because it's like there are a lot of people that maybe posted, like I've seen it on the internet, people that posted insensitive things and then they learn from it and apologized.
And I think that's the really cool thing when it comes to like realizing, you know, whether you have privilege or whether like, you know, like you might have been talking a certain way and now that's kind of at the forefront. You're like, wow, like what I've been saying really, you know, like hasn't been like good, hasn't been healthy, hasn't been whatever. You know, I need to make this change. And you know, change doesn't happen overnight. I don't see anyone who could do it, you know, except for maybe me. But like you have to give people time. But sometimes people are just very forefront. Like my friends' parents they're posting white squares, you know, in protest of black squares. And I'm like, really? Like, I don't give those people a chance to explain. Because it's like, you're posting a white square? Really?
Yeah, it's like you're white. You've never, like, as a Caucasian as well, it's like you've never had to have those struggles that a person of color has.
Seriously. You know, so I think a lot of people, especially like white people, are really learning like, oh, like I do have this privilege. Because you grow up and you don't ever realize it. I didn't even realize I had privilege until a couple of years ago. You know? So it just...
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
So getting back to the band talk, what made you guys abbreviate the band name to M.B.D? Because it's like, you're called Massive Brain Damage, but then it's M.D.B. And then even sometimes like searching for you guys is a little hard on the internet because of the differences.
Yeah, well, okay, so when this band started, it started with like my high school friends, and we got the name M.B.D because my brothers, they work in the psych hospital, and one day I just went over there to drop off lunch for them, and I was waiting, and then you hear like on the intercoms they go code M.B.D, code M.B.D, and so I asked my brother like, what is that? Oh, it's a mental breakdown. He's like, I'll be back. So he leaves, and then I call my guys. I'm like, hey, we're gonna call ourselves mental breakdown, but we'll just go by M.B.D. So you know, I had that band for a little bit, and then along the line, after like maybe like good 4 years, we disbanded because we had, you know, creative differences. And then years later, me and Nikki, you know, we started hanging out and jamming, and we went to record one song, and we brought it back. And so we changed it to Massive Brain Damage instead of M.B.D, you know, mental breakdown. And then from there, it just, you know, we when we had our logo, it first had like the X's in between because we wanted to pay homage to the old logo. Because like, you know, we were a straight edge band back then, so, but then now we pretty much took the X's off because people kept tripping over the logo, and so now it's just M.B.D straight. And
I mean the main reason why we had to change it is because people are like, oh, you're an MXBXDX, right?
They would always bring that up.
Yeah,
too.
or they would go MXPX, and we're like, no.
So we were like, all right, we're just gonna
I guess
BRI
it kind of looks similar because even the fonts you guys use are similar.
Yeah.
So they're like, yeah, like Nikki, you're the drummer for MXBXDX, right? And I'm like, ah. So it was much. So aside from the straight, it was just much easier to take out the X's, and then it gave us a lot more freedom when it comes to like lyrical content, because now we had separate ourselves from the old logo too, because like we brought back a lot of the songs that he wrote and that was on the original Mental Breakdown demo, but we brought them back. We added different riffs, kind of changed them up and refreshed them. So in taking off the X's and revamping the songs, it's like it's paying homage to the old M.B.D, but really being able to move forward and not being stuck in the past.
I'm gonna have to fix the thumbnail for this video because I totally pulled your old logo that had the
It's okay, no worries. No worries. It's fine.
I mean, we're still in the process of like revamping all our merch and with all our designs, and we still need to make stickers.
Don't worry. We honestly brought the new logo out right before our show with Black Flag, so it's like it's recent. You were at that show too, February 25th at the Garden Inn.
Yeah, I remember that. I was really drunk that night.
Well, you're forgiven.
No, I
I've got into you a couple times. You look fine to me.
No, yeah, I was drunk both those times we met at that venue. I wasn't. I mean, like I tried to keep it together, but I was definitely. I was having a good time. I was like, woo!
Yeah.
I remember the first time we met. You came up and like I was like, oh my god, your hair looks like the Ramones.
Yes. Oh my god. He gets this all the time.
Oh my god.
And it's amazing. So like,
what are you doing?
So we were doing a photo shoot in Orange Circle with our friend Kevin, and so we're standing against this brick wall, and so we're doing like self shots, we're doing like band poses, and this girl and this guy walk up, and they're like, "Hey, do you know you look like Nikki Sixx?" And he's just like, "Oh." So like whenever we go to a show, there's at least like 3 or 4 people who are like, "You look like Joey Ramone. You look like Nikki Sixx." It's amazing. Like
I get as long as it doesn't say Steve Perry, I'm fine.
He looks like, my mom said he looks like a young Steve Perry.
Wait, who's Steve Perry from Aerosmith?
Journey.
Oh, from Journey. I don't know what any of those Journey people. I'm not a huge Journey fan. Like I remember being in like Myrtle Beach where my grandma used to live, and my cousin lived there, and she's like, "Do you want to go and see this like Journey cover band?" It's because there was like not fuck shit to do there, and it was like it was the most redneck thing ever. Well, so anyways, you guys released an EP this year called Stuck in Space live on Moonkill Radio. Can you talk more about that? It's like 7 live songs, right?
Yeah. It's 5 live songs. Well, it was 7, but 2 actually got cut off for some reason.
That didn't come out right.
Yeah, I guess.
So we basically we went with our friend Moonkill Radio, who's fantastic. Jorge Reveles is amazing, and he wanted to videotape us and record us and do some live session work. So we went in and we played our songs a couple times, recorded them. He even put video up. They're on his YouTube page, but they're also on our YouTube page. If you guys want to go check them out, both of us. But yeah, so we met up in this cool studio. There were like records on the walls, and oh my god,
it was a really cool place.
It was like a band, like nerd music, vinyl junkie heaven. Like
and then at the same time too, it's like it was just like we just walked in there, we set up, and we were all mic'd up, and it's just like raw, you know, that like what you get from that album is what you get from us live. You know, same thing with our album too, but it's just like, you know, our album, it took us like a lot more time, you know, to redo songs or see what we didn't like and what we can fix and what we can retouch. But with this one, it's just straight there, you know?
Straight run through.
I was listening to it today when I was getting ready, and I was listening to all your discography on Spotify, and it sounds really similar to like your full-length album, like the live recordings. Like you guys do sound pretty much just like your like studio recordings. I mean, it wasn't a studio, but like live.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Well, I like to say we train like we fight. So, you know, like we're just playing songs over and over, really practicing, honing, working on just everything to make sure that like we can have fun and play around on stage, but still like pay tribute to the music that we've written. So people who've never heard of us can be like, wow, like that band's really good. I love that song. And because sometimes too, like you listen to live stuff and there's differences, or it might be slower or faster, and it doesn't really sound like it, you know. So that's what we always try to do, and we've been pretty successful in it so far. We've gotten pretty good feedback, so that's been nice.
Yeah, I mean, it really does. Like, I was really impressed by that when I was listening to it. I was like, I had to like I was doing my hair and I was like, wait a minute, I thought I had the live one on, and then it was. And it just sounded so similar to the full length album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then like with the full length album, you know, it's like half of those songs were like songs I wrote a long time ago, and half of those ones are like the ones that we worked on together. So then, you know, and then the last song of that album, which is called March to Death, is where we leave you off with what's coming up next for the next album. So that's how we put out the Bad Blood EP. It's just a little taste of what's coming out. Yeah, of what's coming out.
Yeah, so the second album is going to be a little bit different from the first, but in a good way.
That's awesome. Well, that's always good. I mean, like, you know, like there's such a difference between like an artist's debut album and then their sophomore album, you know, and then the album after that. Like that's where you see like a lot of growth in musicians.
Yeah.
Too.
Well, you know, like you said, because we had, you know, like half the songs already written, so we wanted to still, like, you know, you don't want to put like 6 songs that sound one way and then like 8 songs that sound totally different. You want like a really good like blending. So our debut album was like kind of like that sound, like the Mental Breakdown sound, a lot more refined. But now with our next album, it's all new stuff that hasn't been written, just our ideas. So now we can really like they're like all our songs, and like we create them out of thin air. There's not some kind of template like when Carlos brought And I'm to me for the first time. There was already a template for it. I just made it sound really sick, you know. So
thank you.
That's awesome. So Carlos, how did you get your nickname Wheaties?
Woo, long
cereal?
It wasn't.
He really likes breakfast cereal.
Yeah, no. Well, it was in like 2007. I was in the 7th grade, and prior to that, my brother, he made it into the Wheaties box. He was a track runner. He won some tournament, and he actually got onto the box. And
wow. That's
so
pretty cool.
Yeah, so he went back and he gave all his PE teachers from he had in the past one of the boxes. So 14 years later, I have that same teacher, and he looks at my last name and he goes, "Oh, are you related to Jaime Soto?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's my brother." Okay. So then I would run the mile, and he had the megaphone all the time. So I was all the way in the back, and he was like, yelling at me. He's like, "Come on, hurry up, blah blah blah, this and that." And he goes, "Speed it up, Wheaties." And then everyone started laughing, and and so the nickname has stuck to me since from 7th grade till now, and rest in peace, Mr. Rydell, by the way, too. So
I like to say he's the guitarist of champions.
Oh my gosh. But
that's funny. That is a funny story.
And there'll be people who I don't even know, and they come up to me and go, "Hey, you're Wheaties," and I'm like, how you know? I used to have this little rule. Oh, if you know me in high school, you can call me that, but I'm over that now. I was like, when I was in high school.
The funny thing is, we go to we go to a lot of shows together because we're all best friends. So we go to a lot of shows together, and we'll literally walk in, and Carlos will either like disappear, or like a crowd of people will come up and they'll be like, "Hey, Wheaties," and like they'll start talking to me. He's like, "Oh yeah, like that's the bass player, like that's my homie, like that's my friend's brother, like that's my friend's brother's cousin's girlfriend's brother's."
I actually just bought that OC Weekly magazine off you, and the Maidens of the Mosh Pit, and under there it says Candace. That's actually one of my friends too. So I was like, "Oh wow!" So it's like it's a small world, and it's really cool that now I have that's her article too that I can hang up. So our little group has this drinking game that we don't actually drink to because otherwise we'd be trashed all the time.
We'd be gone.
And it's whenever Carlos gets recognized or he knows someone at a show, we take a shot. Well, he'll be like, Carlos will see someone, he'll run away, to go say hi because he's super social. And we're like, "Oh, take a shot." And we would be trashed if we actually drank and played that game.
But I mean, it's hard not to. Like when you go to shows out in Orange County, everybody kind of knows everyone, I
mean, but he's been in the scene for so long too, ever since what, 16, 15?
15,
yeah.
Since I was 15 years old.
And he's got this trademark mop right here, so everyone knows him of his hair.
That's awesome.
It's not the hair, it's the nose. I have a big,
No, girls literally come up to him and they're like, "I love your hair."
Definitely the hair.
Oh my god.
He likes to joke about cutting it, and I will unfriend you so quick if you ever cut your hair.
Shout out to Gabby. You know who you are.
That's his hairstylist. He keeps her very well very, very well.
Yeah, because I mean, you do have like a cut. I mean, you know, if it was all just, you wouldn't be able to see. You know?
No, I mean, well, since the pandemic, you know, my bangs are like literally like past my eyes now. Usually up here, but it's.
You don't
it's
ever.
cool.
I mean, you don't try to just like cut them yourself.
I mean, I want to see how long it goes to the pandemic. So I want to do like a before and after picture. Have fun with it.
So be honest, like when you're at home and you're like working or doing whatever you're doing, do you like clip your hair back because it irritates you?
Not at work. I slick it back and put it in a ponytail.
Carlos and I have been friends for years, and I've only seen him with a ponytail maybe once. It was weird. It was so weird. His hair was pulled back, and he had a button-up shirt on for work, and I'm just like, oh my god, who are you?
Yeah, like the other day I went to the post office and I had slept on my hair, my spikes for like 2 days, and I didn't want to like, you know, wash it out because I had stuff to shoot and it's easier to just redo it. And like I had forgotten how ridiculous I probably looked. It's probably how you just forget because it's normal for you. But like I like worked out, so I clipped it all up to just get it out of my face, and it was just like one spike here.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's super rad.
And it's like you forget how silly you probably look because you're just going about your day doing your stuff. And then like this man came up and tried to solicit me a car wash, and I went inside and I told my girlfriend, I was like, holy shit. Like, she's like, if I was that guy, I would have run from you. Like, what the fuck was he thinking? So you probably, I can imagine with the ponytail and like no bangs.
It's all,
There was one picture he put up, and he like had his hair tucked into his hat, and I thought, like, I hadn't seen him on. I thought he cut his hair. Oh my god, I was so mad. I sent a picture to his cousin. I'm like, did he really cut his hair? And he's like, no. It was just like bunned up, and I'm like, Lord.
Yeah, it gets hot when you have a lot of hair.
I'm invested. I'm invested, and he was a friend in hair.
Well, so Nikki, let's talk about you, and let's talk about this big change that you've had recently, coming out as a transgender woman. I mean, that's huge. Congratulations! Like, that's fucking amazing and courageous and just brave. You know, I mean, that's a really big deal. So can we talk about like the process for you coming out and your journey thus far? I saw that you're taking the hormones and transitioning and.
Well, I would first off thank you. It's been a long time coming. You know, it's a lot of this dates back, and with most transgender people, it dates back to when you were little. My earliest memories, you know, like 4 or 5 years old. You know, like something's different. You're like you're drawn to certain things that like, you know, normal like socialized little boys like aren't like socialized to be like attentive to. You know, so but like you still don't really understand what it is, but you know that something's different. And so like going in elementary school and middle school, like I never really fit in with the guys, and I got beaten up a lot just because I was overweight and my family was low income, and you know, so just being different. So I always knew that there was something going on. And then when I was about 14, I kind of put like, oh, you know, like gender dysphoria, which is what the thing that usually transgender people are diagnosed with.
Yeah.
Which is this like inner like struggle where, you know, like how you are physically on the outside isn't how you feel on the inside, you know. And so but I was still, you know, like I grew up in the time where it's still very taboo. Even nowadays, like it's still very taboo. Transgender is still very misunderstood, you know, at least with like the like the other subcultures like like gay, lesbian, like bisexual, they're a lot more like mainstream and normalized. But I found that there's still quite a few misconceptions and misunderstandings about transgender people, and because of that, it pushes a lot of that down. And you know, like you don't really see too many people out on the street unless, you know, you're in kind of like that safe environment. So for the longest time, I was like, all right, I don't think there's anything wrong with me, but society doesn't accept this, and I want to fit in. And especially when you're 14, 15, you start puberty, like you really just want to fit in and be accepted. So for the longest time, I just like pushed it down. I moved on. You know, I enlisted, you know, did my time overseas, and you know, then I got out and then I started to work, and you know, then like those feelings started to come back, and I was like, I don't feel right in this skin, but you know, I still don't feel like I'm able to fully be myself, because it's still that age, you know, like guys, like they can wear nail polish and it's totally cool, but you know, you come in with eyeliner and you know, eyeshadow on, and all of a sudden, like people paint you a certain way, you know. So, so because of those misunderstandings and because of these gender norms that are instilled even before birth, you know, how many parents prep their baby's room, you know, blue or pink before the baby's even born yet. I mean, I never liked blue or pink. My favorite color is purple, you know, or green. So, like, I would have loved to have, like, a green room. I don't even remember what color my room was. But,
yeah, and it's, like, more gender neutral anyway.
And especially, like women, like, when women are born, like, there's an instant, like, societal role, like, things they have to do to fit in. These pressures, guys, too, you know? So, it's very hard to really, like, embrace and come out when you feel like the whole world is against you. Where it was different for me is that, like, my parents were very, like, individualistic. So they're more kind of like, let me teach you, let me give you the tools, you'll make your own conclusions. So I kind of had that openness to, like I knew what drugs were and sex was and all that. So I had a really good idea of, like, nothing was really taboo for me. So I was more open to, like, experiencing things. So when I learned about transgender, it wasn't just weird. It was just like, okay, like, I think this fits more into what I am, but I'm still not sure. So, you know, it takes time, and, you know, you have to sort out through all these feelings. But, you know, when I was, in 2016, I was, 24? And I started to, like, get back into makeup, and I started to kind of, like dress up and all that, but it still just felt really weird, and I felt like I could never do this ever, because, like, I could never leave my room. Like, I felt scared to leave my room. You know, and I didn't feel like I had a nice support system, even though my parents were so open, you know, because just all these, the societal stuff that's ingrained. So, so then I pushed it back down, and then last year we were playing a show, and I was kind of, like, dressed up. That was my thing then. And I was like, I got really sad because I had to go, you know, take it off, and I didn't want to. And that was then I was like, you know, like, I'm not going to do this anymore. Like, I feel secure enough within myself and with my family. I have a close-knit, like, group of friends, and, like, guy friends, girlfriends, parents. So I was able to do that. And so when I finally decided to come out, I wanted to define it and own it for myself, because, like, I heard some people talking, and I was starting to be known as, like, a cross-dresser, which there's nothing wrong with, but it's totally.
I feel like, like, you hear that a lot of transgender people get, like, you know, misinterpreted as a cross-dresser, and it's not the same thing.
Oh yeah, you know, because cross-dressers are, I mean, 90% of cross-dressers are, like, female, like, cross-dressers are, like, heterosexual men who identify as men. They just wear that clothing. So I didn't want to be associated as that, even though there's nothing wrong with it. That wasn't me. So I was like, I'm just going to own it. I'm going to define it for myself, so no one can define it for me. And then I did it, and he was one of the first people, these two, and they were just extremely supportive. I think Carlos was at work, so his first 3 words were, "You go, girl." And then there was, like, 4 hours of silence because he was at work. And I was like, is that it? And then he sent me this really long, nice thing, and, like, my closest, like, my girlfriends knew, and, like, my family, like, already knew. So, you know, fast forward to starting, like, the transition, doing the hormones and all that, I just, you know, and I even talked about it yesterday, because yesterday was my birthday, and I was
Happy
like,
birthday.
Thank you. You know, I've been so lucky to have a support system when it comes to friends and family and bandmates, and a lot of trans women, specifically trans women, don't have that. They often get kicked out, brutalized, abused, murdered, just, you know, just grow up in just a terrible environment. And I didn't have that, you know, and I sympathize with that. And I really appreciate the love that I get from, like, you and Carlos and everyone. I hit the ground running, and it was kind of just an overnight, like, bam. And it's been really nice. And the happiest I've ever been. And, like yesterday was my first birthday like ever that I felt just so just content and happy. I even had to just like sit for a second and just like bask in it. My friend's like, "What are you doing?" I'm just like,
just enjoying myself.
yeah, you know. So yeah, so it's
and that's why like the Stuck in Space EP is very important to us, because that's like the first time we've ever actually jammed with Nikki, like, you know, her new form and everything. So it was really cool to actually like capture that. So that's like that so the reason, that's one of the reasons why we want to put it out, because that's like that's our new thing now. And then the Bad Blood came after that recording session. So it was like, so that's why me and Ruben, you know, we thought like, all right, like this would be really cool now, like to actually keep this, because, and you know, even like Jorge from Moonkill, he was like, you know, we had told him too, because it was barely new, like it just happened, and so we let him know, and he's like, all right, cool. He's like, let's do it, you know, like he's like, I'm glad. He's like, you guys are doing it you guys are playing here for the first time, so, and it was really cool.
Yeah. And it was like even you know, like seeing your music video, your newer one for Bad Blood, and then like the CD I have of yours. Like I remember looking at the CD and I was like, they got a new member, but this is like weird. The name is the same. Like, who is this? Because it's just so authentically
Oh my God!
now.
I love that, because tell him.
what?
They think when you're the merch table. Oh my God!
So okay, so the funny thing was, well, I'll tell that. So I went with one of my friends to see Overkill a couple months ago, and so like so we're standing there watching one of the opening bands play, and this really cool guy, his name's John, walks up, and he's like, "Hey, you're the drummer at M.B.D, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, cool. Like, are you new to the band?" And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, like I went to your album release, and like they had a different drummer. Like he was this like built like white guy with like a beard, you know, like a cut like haircut." I was like, huh. Like, so like I didn't realize he was talking about me at first. So I was like, wait, because then I'm thinking back to like the old, like the first drummer of Mental Breakdown. I'm like, he wasn't there. What? And then the next day, he like he DMs me on Instagram. He's like, hey, that was you. Like, this is the picture that I was talking about. And he sent me this picture that our friend took of like me playing, and like I had my shirt off and my hair was much shorter, you know, and had a little more facial hair. So it was really funny. So, but it was cool because like people weren't associating me like that anymore, but also it was kind of like tripping out like people. So it was
yeah, like there'll be people coming to like a merch table, like buy stuff, and then they'll ask her like, oh, like what are you? She's like, oh, you know, I'm just selling merch. Like I'm waiting for my boyfriend. He's a drummer, and you know, and it'd be funny because like we stood up on stage and then she goes on, and you see like their faces like.
Their reaction.
Well, the funny thing was we played a show, right? And so I'm like, Carlos is off mingling because that's his job to be social, you know. I like to handle the money part, you know.
He goes and pulls the checks, and you handle the money. And then what? Like,
no,
Ruben, what is
right.
doing?
I just write the music. She's all business right here.
We all write the music, okay?
We all do.
Bitch, please. All right, no, but so I was manning the merch table, and so this one of the like the guitarist frontman in this one band I was playing comes up, and he's like, you know, how much are shirts? And I was like, oh, like they're this much. He's like, oh, okay. So he's like, I want to get a shirt. So I gave him a shirt and the patch, and then he like looked at me and then walked over to Carlos and said that he wanted to buy. And I'm like, what? So he thought that I was just like a band member's girlfriend that was just sitting behind the table and not really doing anything, and went directly to Carlos. So then I was like, Carlos, don't tell anyone I'm the drummer, right? And so we go to set up, and then I change my shirt, and I've got like this like sick like cut off, and then I get on stage and we're playing, and the dude was just like you know, and it was really funny. But the interesting thing is just even just like the switch, you know, like you really kind of understand like how people view you like right off the bat, because all of a sudden people perceive you in a different way and they treat you differently. So before, when I manned the merch booth and, you know, I dressed a little bit more butch, you know, people assumed I was part of the band. But, you know, looking like this now, people just thought I was like a groupie, you know, or just like one of like the girlfriends. So it's interesting to see like that like identity get put on. It's fascinating.
Yeah, well, so let's talk about that. About it's definitely a thing in like, you know, punk and metal of women being treated like second class citizens. Like this is a talk that I have with a lot of other female artists of like, you know, it's like as a female artist you have to work twice as hard for like half the fucking respect. So for you, you know, how has that been? Like obviously experiencing that in the stories that you just told, but like how has that been for you, you know, as a part of your transition process to also being a musician?
I mean, the cool thing about for me was that because I'd already been playing live for so long and I played in another band too, a lot of the bands that we worked with already knew me, and I tend to make friends pretty quickly. So I've actually been really close friends with like some of the bands we would play with. So like they already loved and accepted me like instantly. So they always just kind of treated me just like how they usually did, you know? So, but then I'd like there'd be like, you could tell when someone's never met like a trans person, and I'd like to think I'm somewhat passable. So like when people like realize that like, you know, like you are transgender, they kind of like take a step back because they're like, what is this? Like I've never met this type of person, you know, which is one thing you do get sometimes. You know, like I've gotten looks and people are like, what's up, bro? And I'm like, whatever, you silly, you know? And so there's like that, but then there are also surprisingly a lot of people who are supportive, just like, yeah, like that's so awesome, that's great, you do you. But, you know, because the punk scene is a lot about just like it's DIY, like it doesn't, like our song, music that we love. It's like no matter who you are, no matter what you wear, you know, as long as you're there enjoying the show, like being a part of it, that's what matters. You know, and a lot of people that come to our shows end up having that mindset. So I really don't get too many like bad experiences when it comes to people. It's more just like people think that I'm not part of the band being a woman. Because like, oh, like women as musicians, that's not possible. You know?
Well, and especially drummers. Like, I mean, there's not nearly as many female drummers as there are like vocalists and guitarists.
Oh yeah, for sure. So then when people are like, oh shit, like you play drums, I got a lot more attention, you know, which was, so like I would kind of like hide by the wayside, you know, like Ruben here, just kind of like be all like quiet in the back. But then people are like, oh shit, like that's a chick drummer, like, okay. So like people would like they would like make an approach, like come up and say hi, or, you know, just like, you know, how people are at shows, or like I've been hit on at shows, you know, like.
God, I miss going to shows. I was thinking about that today. I was like, because that was like those Garden Amp ones were some of the last ones, because that was like end of February. I was like, man, I miss being drunk in public with people.
It's the best. But, you know, so it's, but especially too, like, because if I had been born a woman, yes, I would still face those same things. But as a trans woman, I feel, at least for me, it's that much harder because now I have such more to prove. Because there are people who still perceive me as a dude in a dress, which that isn't the case. But there are people who, like, that's just their mindset. That's what they believe in. So getting taken seriously, you know, how can you take me seriously as a drummer first if you can't take me seriously as a woman? So it's weird in that aspect, you know?
Yeah.
So women have to work that much harder in the music industry to like have a voice and to be respected. And I have to work differently to be seen as a woman and as a musician.
Yeah.
So
well,
it adds a lot more stress.
If it means anything to you, when I posted that video about you guys, and I was like, oh my God, they have a badass female drummer, like, and then you reposted it and you were so excited. I was like, why is she so excited that I said, I really had at that point, I had no idea that you were transgender. I was just
You made me so happy with that comment. I was like, yes, it works.
I really thought that. I had no idea you were transgender. I was just like, this chick rocks. Like,
So it, you know, it's like those little things that are just very confirming. And I was like, yes, like I haven't really talked to Erin much, but like she perceives me as this way, just automatically, yes, like that, you know, that's what I want. And, you know, it's who I am. So when people realize that first, it's incredibly heartwarming. So like these guys, as soon as like the transition happened, like, I think it was a little bit of like a curveball. Like, okay, like how do I like, you know, like how do I like process? But they were so supportive just right by the get-go. Kind of like that, I don't understand, but you're my friend and I love you. And that's what matters.
Yeah, and it's like, it's even like this, similar to the movement that we're going through right now, like fighting the racism. It's like, if you don't understand, ask questions, and like, you know, you can learn to understand. And it's like, if you can't do that, you can do this.
And that's the thing, even when like people who are just different, you know, if you sit down and you talk like that changes the dynamic because you put a face to it. So like I always wanted to just kind of blend in and just like be perceived as a woman, that's it. But I realize that like that's not going to happen. There are people who are still going to say these things. So it's being proactive about it. So whenever people are like confused or like have questions, like I'm always like, you know what, like let's, like I'm not going to scold you for, you know, saying like he, but let's like do you have any questions about that? Because, you know, like even with my dad, like, you know, like my dad grew up in a cop's house, so like he was exposed to all sorts of people, you know, but, you know, to have his now, you know, to have a daughter all of a sudden, it's a big of a, it's like a culture shock.
Yeah.
So I can't expect people to make that instant change overnight. It's not fair of me to. And there are a lot of trans people who get upset at that fact, but like you have to give people time to adjust. And it took my dad months, but you know, yesterday he signed my card as Nicole, which made me cry as soon as I saw it. You know, so like people do take the time and change. You just have to have, you know, like, yeah, education is key. You have to be willing to have that discussion. Be open to, okay, what I was taught might not be correct, might be different. I might perceive something this way that it might not be. So as long as you're open to that, you don't have to necessarily agree, but it's like you can hear someone out before you jump to these rash conclusions. Because yes, I'm a transgender woman, but I'm so much more than that. That's who I am, but it's like I'm also a drummer, I'm a veteran, like I do sports there. Like there's so many other things to me. Just like with Carlos, just like with Ruben and you, Erin, you know, like you're not just a woman, like you're a beautiful model, you do all these things for the community. So like there's so much more to you, and people get polarized, especially women and especially transgender people. And that's why I always just try and be the change that I seek. And I'm like, you know what? I want to create this change with people. Let me show you. And I do the best to emulate that, you know. And
yeah, and you're doing an amazing job. I mean, it's really brave of you to be open about something that's so personal and vulnerable.
Well, the cool thing is that like being socialized as a boy, like being forced to, like guys grow up a lot less inhibited. Like they're a lot more free to do things. Like you could like get in fights and like you don't have to like dress all like nice, and like you can be a lot more like rough and it's okay. So like guys are like socialized to be able to do a lot more things than women, like proper posture, like if you speak too loudly you're gonna come off as like bossy, you know. So like I grew up not having those pressures as much. Not so when it came to transitioning, not being pushed down all the time, was able to like, no, like I'm not going to take that sitting down. Like, no, like I'm going to stand up and fight for it, because I have been socialized to be a little bit more like assertive in that aspect, you know. So when like people would like be disrespectful, like, well, why do you see me that way? Instead of just like clamming up, you know, it's like why do you have that view? You don't even know me, you know. And so it's helped a lot. So being socialized as a boy really helped to be a lot more outspoken and be a lot more like, this is who I am. If you don't like it, you don't have to hang around me.
Yeah.
I have enough friends and people who love me and care about me. Like I have my own validation. I don't need that from other people. I would like it, because who doesn't want to be loved and liked? But I don't need it. I don't need anyone's. But I was lucky enough to have theirs right from the get-go. And
yeah. Well,
so
I think the support system is everything. It just gives you that security to get to be like authentic.
Love you.
My hair.
No, love you too, sis. Sorry.
You know.
Okay, so we are about halfway through our questions. I want to ask, will you play us a couple songs?
Sure.
Should we do that?
Pull out the speaker.
Okay, let's do it. All right, what song should we do first?
Do you have any preferences? Like what song you would like to hear? You think that the viewers at home would love to watch?
What was I listening to today? Like I was doing it when I was getting my hair ready. I think it was. Which one was it? I think it was like one of the first ones on your album. Like the album had restarted over, so I didn't know what was the end and what was the beginning anymore. Because I listened to all your songs a few times today.
All right, well, we'll start off with zombies.
Yeah, we'll do zombies. That's one of our fun songs. I love to play it just because it's it's about zombies. Like it's not about any type of social movement. It's just about zombies.
I liked And I'm. Yeah, it was the first one.
Okay, we'll play And I'm first. We'll play And I'm first then. That's our fight song. That's our anti-bully song, which is great.
No, it's right here. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Erin, so I have a question for you.
Okay.
How long does it take to style your hair?
Oh my god, like 2 hours. It always takes 2 hours to do it fresh, which is why like no matter how ridiculous it looks, I'm like, because if I just fix it, because the sectioning takes the longest. So like, yeah, if I fix my hair, then it's like, it takes like an hour or 30 minutes.
I think the first time I ever saw Liberty Spikes was with that show, the 80s show. It was like a knockoff of that 70s show, but there was this punk chicken and she had these Liberty Spikes.
Oh yeah, I get people a lot on the internet and they're like, did you ever see that show? You should be on that.
Nah, you're your own. You need your own show.
I do have it. We're on it.
Aside from that.
So you want to play it?
And I'm.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna play And I'm.
Okay.
Cool. So awkward. Do we like start a bit? Like
My hair!
Carlos, you gotta sing. You gotta lip sync to your own song. Come here, Freckles. Come here.
one of those like speaking dances. You just like sing to it.
She's like, Mom, I hate it. What is that, hand sanitizer?
Do I have to like do my legs too? Do my legs, my hands.
This person, I don't know what's going on anymore. Woo! That was awesome. That was not what I was expecting. Normally I meant like play. Like
Uh-huh.
I wasn't expecting that. I mean, but that's a way to do it too. to.
I mean, I was gonna suggest that Carlos bring out his acoustic and play, because we do have some M.B.D songs that can be played acoustically.
Oh, I don't have an acoustic. Huh?
Did you leave it at Ruben's?
No, I left it at Fredo's.
Well, shit.
There we go.
Yeah,
anyway.
because like you were stepping off, I was like, oh, he must be getting a guitar. Because like, if that was the case, like I've got my laptop right here.
Oh, well, that's what we thought you meant when you're like, oh, like play some songs. We didn't like.
No, I meant like you're a musician. That's like what you do.
Oh. Hey, I'm not just by myself in this.
That's why I was so weird when she was telling me, yeah, she wants us to play a song, and I was like, she goes, yeah, well, how, like, we can't play through the phone, and I'm like, I got a Bluetooth speaker, and she's like, yeah, that'll work. So we're like, I'm just like, oh, I want to play a song.
No, I meant like show your musical talents, because we're in this time where there's like no shows happening. So like that was.
Well, shit.
You know what? Let me see if I can get something. What
are you gonna do?
There might be something in my.
You know what? You are not the first one that thought that. Dave from the Casualties.
I've been going through a lot lately. It's not my fault. Okay.
It's okay.
Don't blame it on. Blame the girl. Blame the girl, right? It's all my
So
All right.
on my episode with Dave from the Casualties, like he did the same thing. He's like, you want me to like DJ? And I was like, no, but I was like, but then I realized he doesn't play any instruments. He's only a vocalist. So I was like, okay.
Carlos, you can sing some Dio songs.
I know.
Anyway, let's jump back into our question.
Why not? You know what? You guys want to listen to our music? We're on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play. Did I already say YouTube? Because we're on YouTube, Bandcamp.
Go stream all of their music. It's good for these times. It's aggressive. Like I got into it today when I was doing my hair. I was just like, oh.
All right.
Wait, Ruben disappeared. I don't see Ruben anymore.
He's right here. He's always, you know,
he's like our eye candy. He's like arm candy.
Yeah, he's been so quiet the whole time.
We always go like, is Ruben here? And we hear him sniffing. And we go, okay, he's here. Yeah.
Back to our questions. Talking about your merch designs. I have some of your merch, and your designs are really, really cool. Who does your designs?
So the album art was made by an artist called Francis Logan, and he's from Australia, and he goes by Thrash Wolf. So he did our album art, but I had history with him before, so we made a couple projects. He made a couple art for like my past projects. So it was really good to like have him to do this for us. And then after that, the Zombies logo, it was some artist in Germany. I forget his name, but it's like Bazart, Bazart, and I can't find his Instagram anymore. But he made that for me a long time ago, and I just had that sitting there for years. So randomly, I just brought it out, and we used it. And then anything after those two designs, it's been this guy named Nano, and he's been like excellent with us. He's really cool, and we love his work, so we keep coming back to him.
Mm-hmm. But you know, we're all about like any our merch designs or whoever makes our merch. Like we love to like work within our. Trying to pull something?
No. I'm trying to get rid of you. That's why.
No, Carlos. No, not interested.
No, it's okay. You're my sister.
I feel like that. No, but we love to find people within the local scene, like local businesses, and make sure that we work with them. So like local artists. We were lucky to find Nanu because he's like a local artist in his community, and he's done some really big work for like the Casualties, bigger bands. So that was really cool to have that. So we try to find like those like really cool like underground artists to do our stuff because he's got a lot of these like really cool ideas. Then like we refine them, and we've had really good experiences working with the artists that we've had. And then the people who create the merch, like Mario from the former drummer Vix Mortis, he's the one who prints all our shirts.
Yeah.
So it's super cool. So we're experimenting with some other designs that we have for some other songs. So it's God, we got a lot of t-shirt designs.
Yeah.
But we
So
can't
where can people get your merch? Because I couldn't find anywhere online where to buy it.
So we don't have an online shop just yet. You know, like we were about to put in like these. We were about to get like new merch, like a new like merch batch, couple new ones, and then COVID hit, and then we weren't able to play shows. So you know that kind of just fell by the way. Like we still have like all those plans. We just haven't enacted them just yet. So, but like we have an online store kind of like prepped, waiting for all that stuff to come in. So once we're able to get all that stuff and like work with those people to get it all printed, then we'll have merch and we can put it up on the site. But if you want anything, you know, just you DM us and then one of us usually like will send it to you guys via UPS. That's what we did with you, Erin. I just mailed it to you, and then you guys like, PayPal us. Very, very DIY for it now.
But it's you know what, surprisingly in this time as well, like personally just cleaning out my house of old stuff I've been really surprised about how many direct transactions you can do on Instagram by just saying like, just DM me, like you post your stuff. And I think it's because we're in a time right now that it's like, because there's no shows happening and there are like a lot of people out there that, you know, are still working or were able to get unemployment, they have like money and they want to spend it because they're not going out and doing anything. So it's like they're supporting artists. Like I've seen like an overwhelming amount of support in this time personally because I lost all previous income and I was not eligible for unemployment. So it's been like, you know, and so many other artists, like I was on the phone with another one of my friends today that is in a really established band and he was saying the same thing, that it was like, you know, and I was just saying, I was like, I feel like it's like people want to spend because there were a lot of people are working still and they're like, fuck, I have money and nowhere to spend it. So for bands like you, it's like you just post like your shirts because your shirts are fucking cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
yeah, I mean that's how it is right now. Other than that, I know we have a ton of more designs coming out. So depending how long this still lasts, we might just jump in and start making the merchandise, and people can just get it through us directly, like through our Instagram for now, and we'll just work our way from there.
Mm-hmm. But but once we have our, because like we will set up an online store eventually for sure. Once we have like a lot of the designs that we need, like because we also need to make orders for like more CDs and more buttons, you know. So once we have all those, then like we have something to put on the site, and then people can feel free to buy from us all they want. We are here for you. Yeah. So, but yeah. So if you guys want any merch, just hit us up.
Woohoo! And you guys can see, like I've modeled some of their merch before too, so you can see their cool designs because they're really colorful and they're loud and they're just like.
You know, like cool. I've seen a lot of just artists kind of stick with the same type of designs and the same type of colors, and I was like, Carlos, make the logo purple. There's like no one has a purple logo, so it's just like ways to kind of like differentiate it, make it different.
Yeah.
So we like people like I've had people buy the design just because they like the design and they had never even like listened to our music.
Yeah, actually, we played this big festival. Actually, it was our first festival. It was called Nothing Fest. Oh yeah. It was the second one, and it's pure like indie, like, you know, psychedelic bands and all. Like there was not one punk band. We were actually the first punk band to play that festival, so they wanted to see how it would go, and a lot of the kids would just come up to us and be like, hey, like I've seen this logo before, and like, yeah, and they go, all right, and they would buy our t-shirts. They would, you know, we had free posters for them too, so we give them free posters. So it's like, so from there, like, you know, it was really nice to actually like get the feedback from like the, you know, like somebody totally out of our like that has no clue who we are. But then that same show too is something happened with the lineup, and it was 40 plus bands, and we were the band right before we were actually supposed to play at the same time with this really big headliner. They're called the Tijuana Panthers. I don't know, but yeah, something happened. We ended up playing after them, and so like everybody just swarmed like we were just like, whoa, this is
That's
awesome.
a lot of people in here, like.
So that's kind of like, and it was really cool, like for seeing those people like digging us. Like we were like nothing like that. So it was like, you know, and then so like we
Well,
just
that's awesome. That's awesome. That one worked in your favor because you've heard about like, you know, when like lineup slot times get changed and it'll be like fuck, you know, and then everyone will
yeah.
be gone for your good slot times. So that's cool. That worked in your favor.
Yeah, and it was really cool because even that same day too, I think it's the first time we met Ephraim from Death by Stereo. So he was there and he was, you know, he was talking to us for a bit, but it was really cool to like see him like right there on the side of the stage with us. So that was really fun. And he dug in, he got a T-shirt and he rocked it in Spain. So it was really like the week after we were like, whoa.
Yeah,
Oh,
really
that's so
cool.
cool. Ephraim's a
Yeah.
good friend of mine. He's such an awesome person.
Oh yeah, he is. Everyone in that band is amazing.
Oh, I like miss everybody. Like I miss like the last shows I went to were the ones in Orange County. So I wanted to talk about that. Like with you guys, you know, being a band from Orange County, like the punk scene there, it's special. Like it means something. You know, it's kind of one of the founders of like one of the punk scenes that just a lot of bands came out of Orange County from the late 70s up until now. Can you talk about like how that's special and different for you guys, like being a band from OC?
I mean, I would say like because a lot of our like like Carlos and I are both punks at heart, and then I got into more like the more like the death metal, and then Carlos went into more like the power metal type, like thrash. So like our influences were kind of all over the place. But being from Orange County and from just all the bands that have just come out, it's like how do you create a really good like Orange County sound, but make it different and like pay homage to like those influences. So I can't say for sure like how exactly like we get our sound, but I would attribute to more like we work together really, really well. I've actually never worked with someone as smoothly as Carlos because like we've already been friends for like years. And before I even met Ruben, it was just me and him. Like he played End Dime and I instantly got it. And then we worked on 6 more songs. So we connected really well. And like our sounds just kind of came from like both of us. And then Ruben got added in to complement. So I'm not really sure like how to like phrase.
Well, like saying
sound.
saying it's just like, you know, like going to all the shows like that I have been to, and you know, like for example, like I think the first show I went to was actually down the street, and I got to see Lower Class Brats and all the like local bands. And I was like I never like knew that, you know, we had local bands because I was like so brand new into the scene and everything. So it was just like it was mind blowing for me. And you know, just go to this show, then this other show, you know, go see, you know, I got to see Anti-Over League, I don't know, and then you know, then the Galaxy at the time too. Oh, they were pulling in a lot of great bands, and so
Yeah, Galaxy is now the
the
Observatory.
Observatory, yeah.
Yeah.
So when it was a Galaxy, you know, you had like tons of like punk shows all the time. So that was really fun, and it was like for me it was like got to know the Orange County punk scene like when I went to go see the Adolescents for the first time because they had the crowd open up for them, and then so it was kind of like, you know, the crowd and them like they go way back, and I even got like my Beach Boulevard CD that day too, so I just popped that in and just listened to it, and it was really fun to like really like admire like those who came before, you know, and then you know you get to hear about like, you know, TSOL and, you know, DI, and like for me I was a metalhead, you know, just ended up going the path like through the punk, you know, just punk rock, and it was really cool because like, you know, I'm over here like Slayer, Maiden, but then at the same time, you know, I get to see Negative Approach, I get to see who's another like Elwer Pugh, and you know, I fell in love with the Narcore scene. I love Narcore, like look RKL.
He is all that Narcore.
So Mystic Records and all that. So,
Yeah.
you know, and it's just like Orange County has this like this like kind of like it's like, so you see like all those like it's like Orange County, LA have their own distinctive, you know, sounds and like,
I know what
you
you're
know,
saying, yeah.
backgrounds. So it's really cool to experience that, like, you know, like I love both. I love being in LA and I love being in an OC. So it's just like it's no difference to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I just know personally, it's like, you know, me not being from California at all and like being so thirsty for music in Florida, because it was like the shows that there were really sparse. The bands would kind of come through on their summer tours,
Yeah,
and that was just about it. And when I moved to LA, it was like, it was so special because, you know, you could go down to Orange County and it's still like this. Then there's just shows. I mean, not right now, but
no.
in normal times, there were shows like all the time. It would never be hard to find a show to go to. And I, especially in Orange County, like LA, I mean, I live in LA, but I feel like there's not as many shows here. You know, I mean, there's more backyard shows and things like that. And
Yeah.
the thing about those is they're not always the most welcoming. And that's personally why I don't go to those, because I don't want to get my ass kicked. But it's like in Orange County, even just the punks out there are really friendly, you know, like you go to a show in Orange County and for the most part, people are in a good mood. And, you know, there's always some show to go to between like Long Beach or all the cities of OC, you know, and it's a special thing, you know, that if you haven't been out here and don't live here or you're not from here, it is really special that there is that music. Because me coming from a place where it was like we were starved for live shows, there just weren't any, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome. And like even those shows like where we first met, where there's just like all day of like bands, you know, and it's not even like a outdoor type festival thing. It's like, you know, a show that these people are putting together and bringing in all of these bands, and then there's like 2 stages, so it's kind of like a mini festival, but not the whole like, you know, production of the festival where it's like a pain in the ass and you pay a shit ton of money for parking and food and drinks and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the cool thing, because like like you said, like there's always shows going on. So like there's always like if you're like, oh, like it's a random like Thursday, I wonder what's going on here. There's usually a show going on, you know, and like other counties and other places there isn't. So there's such this like eclectic, very like widespread, like just a lot of like musicians and really good bands out there. So there's always kind of something for anyone, regardless of that. I mean, except for now, but there's always something for someone, you know, and you can go there and you can just like watch, and you're so used to shows, like you go there and like you're just like, you're chill. Like there's been times where like I've gone to shows like 4 days in a row because there's just all these concerts I want to go to, you know, and it's super cool because then you get to know people and you see each other at the same shows, which is why Carlos knows like everyone, you know. So like we get to like, so then it establishes us as like, oh, like that's a band that goes out to shows and supports the scene, you know. So that's what we try and bring when we play shows, when we go to shows, and like talking about shows is like let's go to shows, like have fun, like let's hang, like we try to create that like cool environment.
Yeah, it's like what we do to socialize, you know.
Yeah.
Like a lot of my friends that are not into like, you know, punk or metal or anything like that, their ways of socializing is, you know, going out to a bar or a restaurant, and that's fun too. But like, I feel like us in our community, it's just like a social thing. Like sometimes I'll go to a show and I'll be so busy drinking and talking to people, I'm next to the band, but I'm like kind of.
And that's the cool thing too. Like you're so used to seeing bands, you do.
Like you said, you do know everybody, and you're like, I want to see this song, but I want to talk to this person.
Yeah, you don't know where you're like.
It's like a reunion.
Yeah,
it's super cool, and that's what's really cool about the OC scene specifically, like because it's so small. You run into the same people, and it's like a reunion. And people like, you know, like Johnny from Deviated State, like we ran into him at a DRI show randomly, you know. And then he started becoming a lot more active and doing stuff with us. So it's cool. So like it reignites friendships, it creates friendships. You know?
Yeah.
I first met Carlos at a show. So, you know, like they bring people together.
Yeah. It's so fun. God, I miss shows.
I know. I know. It's like when it hits Friday and I'm like, I miss, you know, Friday, Saturday, recover, Sunday, go back to your regular stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Metal Monday, right? Metal Mondays, woo! You know, I took a break now, right?
So Carlos, I saw you posted something about you posted something, Get Doodled by Wheaties. What is that?
Okay, so it's pretty much, you know, just me. You send me a selfie and I'll DM you on the M.B.D page. I'll draw you on the M.B.D page live. And that it really just it happened at it all started with at a Naked Aggression show. I was in the merch booth, and Johnny from Abbreviate State was like, "Hey, dude, like draw me," because I was drawing like his bandmates for fun. And you know, back then I would just sit in the coffee shop and I would just like draw people, and I just like it's just something that you know I would like to do, just cartoon. And then so randomly, the singer Kirsten, she comes up, she goes, "Oh, like do me next," and I was like, "Oh." So it was like the first time, like, you know, I draw somebody out of my bubble. So I drew her, and she kept it, and she posted on the page and everything. So then from there, my buddy Johnny was like, "You should start doing this." Like, and I told him, maybe sometime, you know, whenever, because I was too busy with, you know, M.B.D writing music and playing shows. So
Yeah.
I didn't think, you know, I would ever have the time to do it. And then COVID came, and I noticed like our page wasn't as active, and you know, we couldn't really post anything or do anything. So I saw the same that picture, those pictures that I drew of those guys, and I was like, well, I'm like, let's see if I could try getting Doodle. So I made a post about it, and right away we started getting selfies. So the only thing about live, it only lasts 2 hours in our account for some reason. So I can't get everyone all at once. So that's like, now we've been doing like 4 at a time. So
it only lasts 2 hours? Like, I know when this COVID started, it was like an hour, and now it's like Instagram just lets you kind of keep going.
Yeah, that's good. I can try. I need to try it again. But it's not every Friday. But I was planning to do it this last Friday, but then, you know, the whole thing that's going on, so I want people to focus on that more, you know. So
yeah.
So then,
yeah,
getting Doodle will be
like,
back.
it didn't feel like appropriate posting, you know, acting like nothing's happening. And
What's Thursday?
No, tomorrow's Friday.
Oh,
Today's Thursday.
oh wow.
Yeah.
today's Thursday, so you're doing one tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm doing one tomorrow.
He would be lost without me. Seriously.
Yeah, so I'm doing Getting Doodle. Getting Doodle starts again tomorrow. So if you want to get Erin, I would love to doodle you.
If you've never been doodled by Wheaties, you should get doodled by Wheaties.
So I actually keep all the doodles, and I wait until COVID is over, so then I can give everyone all their doodles back.
You should do like a collage, just like a big like wall.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So it's fun. It's, you know, I just play punk rock music in the back and just go. And people will like, sometimes people just throw random ideas at me, so I'll just do it. Somebody that draw a monkey, like, you know, riding a unicycle.
Yeah,
it
is weird how like in this time it's like everyone has taken to live streams as entertainment, you know? I mean, like, even like I started this show in this too because it was like, what the fuck am I doing? And like it became like a part of the culture now of like everybody's fucking live streaming, but like not in a bad way. People have their different streams that are interesting.
Yeah. So it's pretty much.
It was just like, it's like, how do we put out content when we're not creating any content? So we kind of have to look at like what are we like what are we good at? You know, like, so that's we try and get like album reviews out, and like we like with Carlos and with his drawings, or like singing songs, or, you know, it's trying to like.
And believe it or not, this is the first time all of us are back together. Like, it's been 3 months. The last time we were actually together was at that Black Flag show. So then after that, we had a practice, but then it got canceled because everything got shut down. And then so we haven't seen each other till today. So it's like really cool to like be back.
As soon as I saw Ruben, I jumped him.
You know what you should do for a live stream? You should do a doodles and then do a split screen like we're doing now. And Nikki, you're vegan, you should do like a cooking segment.
There we go. Cooking with Nikki, right?
Oh my god. I'll just critique Carlos and like talk shit on like his drawing.
There you go.
It's like, Carlos, you made that head wrong. Come on, do better.
Oh my god. Well, so let's talk more about the band. You guys actually started in 2008. Can you talk about how the band got started?
Okay, so it was just me and my friends from high school again. It was my buddy Andy, my other friend Keegan, Goodwin, and my buddy Ruben. And we just, you know, we're just listening to music one day. And we ended up listening to Static Age, Misfits. And we were like, wow, like, you know, we started, you know, talking about, you know, thinking about how we would be in a band. funny enough, all of us actually played something. Like, you know, one guy played bass, another guy played guitar, another guy was, you know, he sang, another guy played drums. So we're like, all right, let's do it. So we met up and we started jamming, and then from there, we wrote songs. My intention was to make a metal band, but I made a band with punks, so I went that way. So we ended up just you know, I ended up writing some songs, and we ended up just like, you know, trying to just to play shows, and that's why like that Lower Class Brats show was like the first show like we all went to that, and then one of the opening bands, Joe's Garage, one of the guitar player Mike, he told me, he was like, hey, like we're looking for a band for the show next week, like are you guys down to do it? And we're like, all right, let's do it. So we showed up and we played, and not knowing that we were gonna open up for the Broken Bones too, so that was pretty cool. So, and then from there we got asked to open up for the Avengers. Then from the Avengers we ended up playing with Fear, then DI, and it just we were lucky enough to like, you know, meet a lot of our idols too. So, and we played some of the punk rock picnics too. So those were really fun.
I remember those back in the day. I went to a couple
right.
of
Those are huge. Like you're like, I want to see, but this band's on too. Like.
And the cool thing is,
torture.
The old M.B.D played a show when it was the Galaxy, right? And Ruben, was in the crowd watching them play.
That was my first time being at a punk show.
Yeah, that was the first show.
We opened up for the Misfits, right? That's that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. We played with the Misfits and
stuck around for all the bands, and like I just.
So wait, which Misfits though? Like
the Jerry Fits. Not the Danzig Fits, don't worry. the cover band, right?
There you go.
Oh no! Oh my God!
But for me, I didn't care because you know what? Where else was I gonna hear Misfit songs? And you know, so it was really cool to like, you know, play with Jerry and Robo. So
did you see the Misfits last summer, like the reunion one?
No, I wasn't able to get a ticket. They just those were selling.
They sold out quick.
I was actually like, it kind of ruined it for me how much I had to pay for tickets. Like it kind of ruined it. I was like, this is wrong. Like I'm like pissed off.
I remember.
I mean, the whole night, because it's like, then you have to pay for your Lyft or your Uber to get there, and then the drinks are like insanely expensive, and I'm just like, this is like, I could have taken a vacation for how much was spent this night. And for me though, I had never seen the Misfits, so I was like, I have to see them once, but like still I have like such a sour taste in my mouth about how much I had to pay for it.
Oh man,
God damn.
Sure. Yeah.
It was dumb. It was dumb. I don't know if it was worth it.
Well, yeah, but then we ended up playing. I think the last show we played together, well, me and the original guys, it was with the Casualties, Havoc, and English Dogs.
I remember that show.
And Talks of Holocaust. It was really cool. And, like it was like our last night, just playing together. And you know, we had different views on music now. Like I wanted to go more towards the metal, and these guys were like, you know, they went somewhere else. So we disbanded. And so then years later, you know, I was in another band, Nikki was in another band, and we ended up playing together. And just randomly, me and her like hung out a lot, and just
besties.
Yeah, we became besties, and you know, it was really fun. And then I introduced her to Ruben, and we all went to go see we went to go see Ghoul. And we passed like stickers of our old bands, right? And we passed, you know, a sticker to this one guy, and the guy goes, How many members are you guys? And we go, in your band? And we go, 5. And the guy goes, that's ridiculous. There's only one guy doing all the work. So me and Nikki look at each other and we're just like, yeah, that's right. Like, why are we the ones always like promoting, and while the other guys are just sitting at home, you know, being couch potatoes? So then me and her got together and we decided like, oh, let's just make a punk band. You know, like let's get our anger out the best way.
Yeah, that was really cool because like me and him were already close, and then even before I met Ruben, like he's like, hey, so I really want to re-record this song. Like I want to do it justice, and like you're one of my closest friends. Like I want you to play drums on it, and I was honored. So then we met up, and we had no intention really to kind of make it a band at first. It was just kind of like let's record the album to just like get it out there, and then we played really, really well, and then we ended up writing like 2 songs that day. You know, and then even like there's a very early version of Mosh to Death that we ended up like working with, and then we were just like, oh, like we could make this a thing, and then we were just we shared the same creative differences in our other bands, And then we were like, you know what? Like, this is something that means like a lot to us. We want to move this forward. Like, we should create and make M.B.D a thing. And when that was already kind of in motion, like, yeah, like he said, like I met Ruben and we went to Ghoul and we had our release show that December.
Once we got like, once M.B.D was coming back, a lot of people asked me about like, well, what about like, the old members, like the other guys? Well, they were in different areas now. Like one guy's in San Fran and another guy like somewhere on some other state. And so really, to avoid that, that's when we went with Massive Brain Damage instead of Mental Breakdown. Because it's not Mental Breakdown, it's Massive Brain Damage. It's a totally new band.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
just to avoid like the controversy of somebody potentially being upset.
Yeah. It was taking their songs because Carlos, owned them. So they were his songs. And so it was taking those and like just breathing a new fire into them. So even if you listen to the old demo, you can make out the similarities, but they're very different songs.
Yeah.
At least with a couple. There are some that we pretty much play like how they were because they were just fan favorites and they just sounded good like that. But I mean, we even had like the old members come, like their old singer Ruben was in the audience. He's like, "Oh, you guys are really good." We had their old bassist Andy come in and fill in for Ruben a couple of times, and like they've all been very supportive of us too, just because they didn't want to do it anymore, and we did. So it's been really cool to like have that and then move it forward because now we can create our own band, but still pay homage to what M.B.D started out as. Because Carlos is like he's like the living like record of M.B.D. So
no scratch.
It's really funny. Well, so I want to ask, like, obviously, you started the band, and the band has had all of these reincarnations, but last year you finally put out like a full-length album. Can you talk about, what it was that took so long? Was it just that you were kind of still getting the lineup that was like before investing and making a record, or?
Well, it's because like after I disbanded with M.B.D, I wanted to experiment. Like try new other genres. Jam with new people. So in those 7 years, I was just jumping around with other bands and see what else I can do. See what else what like put myself to the test.
I was doing the same.
Yeah. So I stuck with this band for a little while, for like a good 4 years, but it was like a roller coaster where it was coming up and back down, coming in, back down, and then like the last time it went back down, I just didn't want to do it again, and because the other guys were pulling the weight, and why should I too? So
it's like a relationship, but it's with like 4 other guys.
Yeah.
And it's like you have lots of needs. You need to communicate and like talk about things, and you need to have the same goal.
So pretty much, that's really. And so I always wanted to get this album up because I just want to have something physical, like this is like
his legacy. His
legacy.
Well,
no, not my legacy, but like this is us. Exactly. Yeah. So it's it's like I'll years later, like I want people like just people to know like that was M.B.D. People like I even have like a lot of like the old school fans, like the people who remember us back in the day. They come and see Massive Brain Damage and they're just like, oh my god, like thank you for keep going, like not stopping, like like I had these songs like stuck in my head, and it's finally nice to actually have them with me physically. So people so it's really cool to just continue it, and it's like it really never got forgotten, and that's what like made it important for me to keep going. So it's cool to just see like random people just come up and sing these songs too. So it makes it so worth it.
I mean, we were at a show and one of our friends, like the band Weaponize, was playing, and we ended up finding like the bassist had an old M.B.D pin from 2008, from like back in the day, and we're like, holy shit, like you have that pin still after all these years. Yeah. It was super cool. Eddie from Weaponize, so it was super cool to see that.
Yeah.
So it is that is a legacy. It is a legacy.
That's awesome. Well, so can you talk about making this album and like what your process was? Everyone, you can stream this on all streaming platforms, or you can DM them to purchase it.
Yeah. So I mean, so basically, the cool thing is, so once we had the songs all written and perfected, we worked with Jeff Bowler of Bowler Audio, and the cool thing about Jeff was in 2015, M.B.D briefly came back to play a show for like a couple shows.
One show.
One show. And so Jeff played that show. So he was already familiar with M.B.D, already an old friend of Carlos's.
Yeah,
So,
well, the thing like with me and Jeff is like we known each other since I was like 15. So even like he was there from the get-go. So to have him like be the guy to engineer to record us, you know, like he knows what we were about. So it's really like cool to like work with someone, you know, that knows exactly what you're looking for.
and he did us really good justice with the album. We were very happy to how it turned out.
Yeah, we recorded everything at Gothard Studios with Donnie from Leftover Crack. That's his studio. So we recorded everything there, and it was, yeah, it was
Yeah,
really fun.
we recorded the album, and I mean it took a couple months. We just like we picked select days and got it done. I did drums, and I recorded 15 songs in what, 3 hours? Oh my god, something
Yeah.
like
Oh wow.
it was ridiculous. But you know, we wanted to take our time and make sure that everything was done good, and especially like pay tribute and do the good work. So Jeff, we really didn't have to like tweak too much because, like Carlos said, Jeff already had this idea of what like it should sound like, and we really liked the recordings that he did. And then once we got the recordings, we sent it to James McBain, who is of Hell Ripper, and he's in Scotland, of Coronach Studios, and he mixed it for us, and because he like we really liked the mixes and how like he made us sound. Like we had this, the cool thing about like punk is that you can have that like raw sound, but when you incorporate like metal elements into it, you have to kind of have that cleanness to it. So it was like raw but still kind of clean, and it reminded me of like an old like crossover like thrash type album, but like a lot more like punk Cro-Mag style, which is kind of what we wanted. And then from there we had Logan in Australia do the album artwork, and yeah, it was great.
It's kind of funny how you collaborate with people all around the world. It's like, how are you finding all these people?
Carlos. Literally Carlos. He's like, oh yeah, my homie, he's the bassist in this band, and his girlfriend's cousins, brothers, sons, daughters, fathers.
There's people like all over the world that you're working with.
And that's the cool thing, because it's like, you know, because then our material gets down to Australia, you know, because then Logan talks about it, or then like Nanu, I think he's in the Philippines or somewhere around there.
Indonesia, I think.
Indonesia,
yeah,
one of them, someplace like that. And so like it kind of like, instead of like keeping it so ingrained, it kind of spreads it out. So then I look at our Spotify like statistics, and we have listeners like all over the world. We have some in Australia, in like Eastern Asia, Eastern Europe. Like we have, they're kind of all over the place, and it's really cool. We held a gift. We did a giveaway, and we actually shipped some stuff to this cool chick in England. You know, so like our music made it over to England. So it was super cool to do that, and that's why we like working with people just of, you know, all styles and like all over the world, because it makes us unique, and it adds that like, it adds like a really nice like colorful feel to it. I don't know, it makes sense to me.
I think so. I mean, the album, I mean, all of your stuff, like I said earlier, it's really beautifully and well made, you know, like it sounds very similar, and you guys like do have a really tight live performance as well. Like the videos I saw on YouTube, you know, you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. That means a lot. That really means a lot.
And I mean, it goes back to just like being bandmates, sure, but being friends before then, like hanging out and doing stuff after the show, going out to movies, you know, like it's like, yeah, I get to play with talented musicians, sure, but I get to play with my friends first. So it's that friendship on stage. You see a lot of bands like Green Day who've been together since they were 18, you know?
Yeah.
Mom's favorite band in the entire world. And they're best friends, like their kids all play with each other, and you know, it's like they're just so like together. They're not just bandmates, they're family.
And one thing about me and Nikki, like no matter what we are, no matter what we're doing, we never shut up about M.B.D. So
it's true. Our friends get mad
are
at
like, come on, just shut up. We're like, well, these ideas just keep coming up.
We're like, we are business people, hustling.
And that's how it has to be. You know, I mean, we're in an age that like, you know, reps are only going to do so much for you, and honestly, like with the internet how it is today, like, you know, a lot of times reps want artists that are already like established. You know, like personally, I was having that talk today with my friend that I was on the phone with, that he's in a band, and I was like, I have an agent and I love my agent, but literally they've the only things thus far that I've gotten from them is like, you know, they send me auditions, but I've only ever booked one thing from them, and everything else has been me. And that's just how it has to be as an independent artist, that it's like, you can't sit around picking your nose, waiting for your reps to bring you shit. You got to just do it yourself.
Yeah, you got to make it happen. You know, you got to pull the weight. You got to build the blocks.
And that's what's cool about it, you know, because like in the bands that Carlos and I have both been in, we tend to do a lot of the work. So when we formed M.B.D together, it's this really like Carlos has like, we're both social, but I could give him like 50 stickers, and in about 5 minutes they're all gone. You know, so while I'm handling the merch table, taking care of like the numbers, Carlos is going out talking to people. And then it's like, oh, like I have this idea for this shirt. Okay, cool. What about this? Oh yeah, and there's a lot of communication back and forth. It's, you know, it's teamwork. And then we're like, yeah, what do you think? And then Ruben provides, you know, what he thinks, and it's very just like open. It's very like democratic in that way. Just like we're all a team. You know, we try and like we complement each other where there are weaknesses, and we help strengthen those, and it's what leads to like really good solid performances.
Yeah,
the feedback that we
never let each other fall. We keep trying to, you know, have everyone, you know, on the same pace, and we just want to keep moving forward.
The wind beneath your wings.
Yeah.
Well, and that's really smart. Like, that's really, really smart of you guys. You know, that's how you have to do it. And I admire that a lot, like how you just, you know, keep pressing forward and just do it. You know, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So talking about your YouTube channel, I did see that you guys had quite a few releases kind of at the beginning of this quarantine. Can you talk about those?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of what we put on YouTube lately. It's been the culmination of certain live videos that we've done. Like in our song "Sick of Your Shit," it's, you know, it's an anti-Trump song. So we have a video of us playing that was shot by our friend Kevin, and we have our friend Mike from Unstoppable Force come in, like dress up as like Trump with like the mask and come out and like dance on stage. Like, it's a lot of fun. And so we wanted to be able to like put that video up, and like our official music videos, because we've shot a lot of content, but we didn't have a YouTube channel at the time. So it's just like it's like videos from like last year, like our Warriors video, just kind of putting those out there on a platform that people can finally see. So like we don't have to just see them, because we made them for you, so now you can see them. So our focus has just been like catching up, posting videos from like last year, or like music videos, helping promote in that way.
It's because like, you know, we're really active on Instagram, and honestly, like Instagram has been like what's been helping us really get out there. So we didn't really like, you know, we have some stuff on YouTube, but we didn't really think much of it. But now we're like working on our YouTube page now. So everything from IGTV is going to go to that YouTube page.
Yep, we're still in the process. So yeah, it's just kind of like trickling and getting everything like situated, and you know, but yeah, like we're putting more YouTube videos up every week. You know, we try to space them out so there's not like too many, so they don't all get lost. But, like we'll end up having like a fair amount, because we've shot a lot of content with our friend Kevin. So it's been really cool. So yeah, so we'll definitely have a lot more stuff on YouTube too. But there's already a fair amount, so please go check it out, follow us, subscribe.
And so if you search, I think that the thing to find you guys on YouTube is if you search the words Massive Brain Damage Band.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Just Massive Brain Damage Band or Massive Brain Damage M.B.D.
Yeah.
Those are the only two ways.
Or if you do like massive brain damage and like bad blood, you know, like I would Google massive brain damage and I would get videos of like brain hemorrhages. Yeah. You know, and especially with local bands too, you know, because like you're not like a huge band. So because of that, like your name kind of gets lost if it's named after something, like, you know, like with massive brain damage videos. So it's so right now, for the time being, because we're still building that platform, Massive Brain Damage Band, or I mean, right now we have our Black Lives Matter resources as the link in our Instagram bio, but you know, but we usually have our YouTube link there too. So we have access, so we try and give access for like YouTube to like our followers on Instagram, where we're very active.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you guys are really active. You post a lot, which I think is also awesome, because I know sometimes bands get really overwhelmed about social media, you know, especially bands that maybe been around a little longer, or, you know, aren't in in the age range that we are, because I think technically we're considered millennials still, and it's just very much like our culture.
Truly, yeah, for sure.
So, last question. What are some of the things that you guys have coming up for the band, and what are some of the things that you've learned in this pandemic? I mean, God, it's been like 3 months now of like just complete fucking and utter chaos. Like my friend the other day, we were joking. It's like, it's almost like temporarily bipolarness in this time of like really good days and really bad days.
I mean, pretty much, we've just like we've learned to just, because you can't meet up in person, so communication is that much more digital. Like it's on a group chat or it's like talking on the phone. So because you can't actively like engage with the person really face to face, you really have to be patient and communicate. So I think just with the COVID crisis, it's taught us a lot more with patience and the importance of creating content, because when we can't play live and get that really cool live video out, we have to go, okay, well, what's in the vault? Like, what do we got? Or like with Carlos with Getting Doodle, it's like, what do we have, something that makes us unique that we can offer, that we can show people like, hey, even though we're not playing live, we still want to be active. So it causes us to think outside the box, because like, okay, we can't do live videos. Like, what else can we do?
Yeah.
And if we were still playing live, like Getting Doodled with Wheaties probably wouldn't have happened, because we would have been busy with like photo shoots and whatever. Or like with like my transition, and just as my appearance starts to change and everything starts to shift, it's like, photos that were cool last year, I don't look like that anymore. So it's like, so now it's okay, well, we can't post those pictures. What else can we post? So it causes you to think outside the box, So,
yeah. I mean, I would say what's coming up is right now we're trying to work our way, see what we can do to actually start practicing again and put out some like live stream shows. That's what we're gonna start with.
We're aiming towards that too.
Yeah, that's what we're aiming towards. So that way we can start working on the new material that we had before this whole thing started.
Oh yeah, we had a couple songs that were kind of ready to record, but we haven't. But like then COVID happened, and so because we haven't played those songs, like we really want to make sure that like they're quality. So
yeah.
So when we're able to really get back into it, when everything starts to calm down a little bit more, I mean, we still like we have a chat where it's just like lyrics that we post, or where like all like kind of like sing a melody, and like, I mean, Carlos and I have wrote songs where like I sang him a melody and he matched it on guitar perfectly. So like we find ways to write which that kind of like that help that. But now it's like, okay, we have all this raw material. Now we need to like put pen to paper, press it down. So it's just kind of all these things that we have. We just need to be able to press them down. So like when it comes to like t-shirt designs that we have, because we have about 3 new ones that we're excited. And you'll see 4. We got some cool videos that are in the process of being made, some involving our fans, which was really cool too, and you know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of ideas coming soon.
Oh my God. I want to touch on what we talked about earlier, because I just saw it in the comments, this person in here saying I look like a drag queen, and just what we talked about earlier about like the perceptions of women. It was like, oh my God. Can you lay
look like that or me? But that's not true.
And it's like, I just thought it was so beautiful what you said earlier, just about, what you've gone through. And it's just like, again, it was like, good God, the trolls of women. We're talking about your band here. Look, he's saying it again. Get the fuck out of here, bruh. And it's like, I can only imagine for you what you've gone through. And then I just love it. You step onto your drums and that shuts everyone the fuck up, because you're a fucking badass.
Thank you. It's like, these are people, they're called trolls for a reason, obviously, and
fuck him.
There are some people who they just like to get reactions out. But what I learned through this transition journey is that you can't please everybody. You really can't. You could try your best to, but if you do anything out for other people instead of yourself, you just fall flat by the wayside. So what I've learned with this is, as long as you're yourself and you do whatever, you might get hate, but you can live with yourself and be happy. And my dad always told me, if you look in the mirror and you love and you accept and you enjoy the person that you see, like that's who you are, and that's what matters. So like I get people like I'll post like something positive, like a selfie of me, and I'll get like something like, oh, like hey dude, or it's like like I've gotten like sexual comments that like sent to me. Sometimes I post them on my story just to show like, hey, like this exists, because so many people think that doesn't exist, and then I'll show Carlos and he's like, serious? Like that's not okay.
Remember a couple weeks ago the dick pics I got and I posted them to my Twitter?
Oh my god!
Girl, I get you. I get you. I understand.
Yes. Fucking deserve that.
So it's like put them on blast, or like educate. Just do you. You are beautiful no matter what, and as long as you feel that about yourself, that's all that matters. And that's how I feel.
The plight of being a woman in this subculture is like,
especially on social media, it sucks sometimes.
I know it really is, kind of a man's world, but we're doing it as ladies, and I appreciate so much like your bandmates, men that are supportive of women and don't treat women in those ways because it's shitty.
Like it was funny. So like before I decided to transition, like we would go out somewhere and like we would like open the door or whatever. As soon as I kind of like I started to dress more like feminine, all of a sudden like Carlos is like opening the door for me and shit. And I was like, oh, he didn't do that shit last week,
I thought you were gonna say when we hang out together they both think we're girls. And I'm like, whatever.
Yeah,
hey.
he does get kind of like hit as a girl sometimes from like far away.
They go, hey ladies, and I'm like, what can I get you ladies? And I'm just like, well,
you are very pretty though. Come on now, look at this hair. He conditions and takes care of it. Once again, shout out to Gabby. So
trying to grow facial hair, but it's not working. Women, pass it up.
Facial hair is overrated.
I got a baby face. What are you talking about?
But
I love how this whole time Ruben has been so quiet. He's just like, I'm here.
He's just like, these fuckers.
Oh man.
Well, that's all the questions I have. So I want to tell everyone watching, please go follow at Massive Brain Damage. Go stream their discography. You can actually get their discography for free download right now. If you go to the link in their bio and submit proof that you've donated to any of the Black Lives Matter charities, go check them out. Check out their YouTube channel. If you search Massive Brain Damage Band, Massive Brain Damage M.B.D. And thank you guys so much for being here and spending the last over an hour with me. I appreciate it.
Oh.
I mean, it's gone by fast. Like, it's a pleasure. You're amazing. The support that you do, especially with just the scene and just with getting bands out there. Because as a local band, it is so hard to get your name out there because you get just like saturated with all these other bands and everyone's trying to make it. So to have, support from like someone like you, it means a lot to us. And I know that if it means a lot to us, it means a lot to a lot of the other bands that you work with. So you do amazing work. So thank you.
Oh, thanks. I'm so glad we met. I'm so glad you came up to me at that show when I was all drunk and shit.
That's what Carlos does. Give him stickers, send him on his way.
All right, guys, well, I'm going to let you go. Thank you again. I appreciate you.
We appreciate you. Bye, Erin.